Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to copy elements between images, how to use adjustments, adjustment layers, and how to add masks to elements. So first of all, you can update and change how your image looks, and you do it through adjustments. And when you do that, affect all of the image. You can find adjustments in Image, Adjustments, and here you've got wide selection of adjustments that you can apply to your image. So just looking at a few of them, brightness and contrast will change what it says. You can make an image darker and lighter. One of my favorite is levels, which will have a similar effect to brightness and contrast, but you've got much more control over what's happening because you can see a histogram of all of the different values. The little arrow on the left, it's responsible for blacks. The one on the right is responsible for whites, and the one in the middle, it shows the middle range. So you can actually change your image and with much more control how the brightness and contrast act. There are a few other ones that are very useful. You can, for example, desaturate or saturate your image. Saturate will add more color to your image. Desaturate will make it a shade of gray. And you can also add a tint to it. So it's a monochromatic image, but with the hint of another color. And the other one that I really like, it's color balance. When you create your composite collages, you might want to change the tone of your image, and that's how you can actually achieve it. There is more adjustments if you want to use them, but I would like you to experiment if you wish to see what other are actually doing. They're pretty cool. So that is when you're adjusting the whole image. What if you would like to adjust only a part of the image? Well, you can have that adjustment as a separate layer. In the Layers menu, on the bottom, you will see a little circle that it's half filled black and white. If you click on it, you will see exactly the same options, but you can use them as a separate layer. So let's just choose one, maybe levels. So you can see I've got now a layer with my adjustment. And if I'm applying my adjustment, at the moment it looks very similar to what was happening when I was coming and trying to adjust the whole image. But there's one big difference. Because it's separate, I can use a mask which is automatically added to this layer to apply this adjustment only on the part of my image. So hopefully you remember from the previous video, the white shows something, the black hides something. So if I would just change my color to black and use the brush, if I draw through this layer, having my mask selected, I'm going to hide part of this adjustment. So I can use that in my collage to my advantage. If I don't like what's happening, not a problem. I can change my color to white, and I can bring that adjustment back. I could even select a part of the image like that, maybe just want to have that adjustment on the bottom and use bucket. And as you can see now, I very quickly created a division in the levels. So bottom will have the levels adjustment showing, on the top it's hidden. let's complicate it a bit. So I've got here my objects from my previous videos that have been cut out of the background, and I want to have them on this image of the stone. So I would like to start creating a collage here. To copy and paste those images into the Yada work, few ways I can do it. I can Command A to select everything, Command C, Command V, that will copy that image. The other way to do it, I can also drag it in between two images. But for that, I will actually need to see them side by side. So I can rearrange how my images are showing in my window. If I will go to Window, Arrange, it will allow me to show more than one image side by side. So now I've got all of my images here showing. So I can go to the image that I want to copy something from, click on it and drag it to my other image. I could do it a few times if I want to drag more copies of the same object. If that is too much for me and I don't have enough space to work back on my main picture, I can go back to Windows, Arrange, Consolidate to all tabs, and now you can see that I'm back to seeing my images separately. Okay, so now that we've got a few different objects, we can arrange them, and you can click and move your objects around, and you can see in the layers menu, if I click on something, it will my selected layer is going to actually show which objects I'm working on. If that's not happening and you cannot just click and move different objects you've got on the image, that means your auto select is not clicked. So if there is no tick in auto select, it will not allow you to select the object that you want. If you've got it selected, as soon as I click on something, it will allow me to move it around. Okay, what other things I can do here with my objects? Well, I can make my objects transparent or semi-transparent. So in the layers menu, you've got opacity. If it's on 100%, that means the object is fully opaque. If I want it to be transparent, here we go. I can just change the opacity. So now you can see underneath what's in there. If I will move that object now in the stack to the top, that means it's going to be on the top of other objects, and you can see that opacity affects the other objects as well. I can add mask to the object. So I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can see it a bit better. Have my object selected in my layers. I'm going to click add mask. You can see now a little box, white box added to it. That means this object now can be masked. And with black, I can hide some of this object. So I'm not deleting it. The object is still there. I'm just hiding it. If I will go back to the white color, I can still uncover it, and that will allow me to create some interesting effects in it. For example, I can add a little pattern with it. If I had a gray color selected, it will have cover it, so you can see that I am hiding some of these bars, but not all of it. And depending how deep your gray is, it's going to be stronger or lighter effect. So for example, the darker the gray, the more I can hide. And the lighter, the less effect it's going to be. So I've got one of my adjustment layers here. What if I would like to have certain things affected by an adjustment layer and the rest of them not. And I can actually deal with it through organizing things in my layers. So I'm going to add an adjustment. Let's say I'm going to add an invert adjustment. Okay. So now, because my invert adjustment is on the top, it affects everything in my image. But if I will move it underneath something, the objects that are above that adjustment are not affected by it, and objects that are below, they are. So for example, those lemons are above the adjustment layer, so they remain normal, and the ones that are underneath are affected by this adjustment. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that you find it useful. Thank you.